Okay, this is my third video on Donald Trump, and hopefully, I'll call it the Trump trilogy. Hopefully, by now, most people are starting to understand. Maybe most people aren't understanding because I don't hear from anybody else that Donald Trump is not trying to win this race. I mean, everything he does would make you think that he isn't trying to win the race. Let me show you this, and I mean, it's been around for a while. You probably everybody's heard this. But look at this. When Donald Trump says stuff like, Donald Trump, I could shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters. So what he literally says is he could stand on Fifth Avenue, shoot somebody, and he still wouldn't lose any voters. Now, that's a crazy thing to say. That's a crazy thing to say if you're trying to win a popular vote. It's not a crazy thing to say if all you're worried about is getting your name out there and making everybody aware of who you are, making outlandish statements and saying lots of things and being very, very deliberate and very boisterous and making yourself feel like you're, basically God, which is what Donald Trump tries to do all the time. To sound like he's God. And if you think that Trump is going to drop down from billionaire godlike status and help the poor coal miner in West Virginia, you haven't listened to him very closely, because that's not what this guy's about. This guy's about his image, about his name, and about his brand. That's what he's all about. And that's what he's building. And that's why he's monetizing this run for the presidency. One thing that's going to happen at the end of this presidency is his name will be renowned throughout the world. He will have one of the biggest, most recognizable names throughout the world, not only in the United States, throughout the world. And he knows it. His brand is going to grow exponentially through this run for the presidency. And this is what I don't understand people aren't getting. I mean, I'm a businessman and I know what it costs to get your name out there, how much it costs to advertise, how much it costs to go out and get people to know who you are. Look at how much publicity he's getting for this run for the presidency. And that's why he's doing it, not to help the coal miner out in West Virginia. He's monetizing this run for the presidency. He is taking his all of his wealth, all of his fame, all of his fortune, and he's developing an image that he wants everybody to know. And the image is of someone that can say or do anything without any challenges and without any backing down and any compromise and any kind of anything. And that's why he says I can literally shoot somebody and wouldn't lose a vote. And that's the image he's going to keep on portraying all the way through this. That's why he will not win the election, cannot win the election, especially with this kind of this kind of rhetoric. Um, Donald Trump's a very smart man, and I don't think he ever got into this without knowing what the outcome was going to be. He's got enough money and enough wealth and enough fame that he wasn't going to risk it on what he thought the American people. I'd leave it up to the American people to choose if he'd be president or not. He already knew the outcome, and I think he already made the decision. And the decision is he's not going to win the presidency, but he's going to build a name, and that name is going to be somebody that doesn't back down, and that's why he doesn't try to do anything as far as all the people that he ran against saying anything. Not only not saying anything, to kind of soften some of the stuff he said previously, but just basically not to say anything, not to go on about Cruz's dad being being with Lee Harvard. Just shut up. Don't say anything. Don't say any. Just keep going on, and provide the American people what they're looking for is more substance to what your message is. But he's not doing that. He's creating all this rhetoric that basically is very divisive. And the reason he's doing that is because it's about Donald Trump, and it's about Donald Trump's brand, and it's about him building his name and who he is. And the only way Donald Trump loses is that when he loses this election, is if he loses it because he compromised and because he started to back down and he started to be less Trump. If he becomes less Trump, his name, his brand will suffer from him being less Trump. As long as he's Trump, and even if he loses, people will still respect him and respect that name and respect what it is he does, and they will respect the fact that he's not politically correct, and his brand and his image will be more strong, more powerful than ever. And that's what he's about, and that's why he doesn't give a damn about all this stuff. And this is why he says he could really stand in the middle of the street and shoot somebody and wouldn't lose any voters, because he doesn't want to win. All he wants to do is build his name and build his image, and that's what he's doing. So he's monetizing this run for the presidency. and he's going to monetize it into a name, a brand that's bigger than ever and non-compromising and never back down. And that's why he's not going to do anything to try to appease uh, um, the Republicans or to try to back down on some of the stuff he said. And nobody sees this, and nobody can figure it out. Nobody sees the narcissist that he is. And the narcissist he is that this is about something bigger than Donald Trump. This is about his name, about his brand, and about his business. He's never separated himself from his businesses. He didn't say, I'm leaving business to run for office. He's always pushed his businesses even while he's running for the presidency. He'll talk about his golf courses. He'll talk about all of his great business deals. And I can hear him now when he gets done and he loses the presidency. This is what he's going to say. He's going to see, I did so good running for president. You can't believe how well I did. I did so well. I did so well. We made so much running for presidency. You will not believe how well I did running for president. He'll spin this thing so that it sounds like what he does when he was bankrupt in Atlantic City. He will say, he won't say he went bankrupt. He said, we did so well in Atlantic City. You know, even if there was a bankruptcy, that's what businesses do because we did well. We did well. And that's what he's going to say here. The only way he doesn't do well is if he repackages himself to try to win this election. He tries to become something he's not, so he fits into a broader a broader image of what would be more acceptable by a greater number of people. He won't do that. He's not going to reconfigure himself for that because it's about money and it's about him and it's about his image. And I was going to show you this is the Examiner and this Ryan Priebus, whatever he is. He's like the DNC big guy. I don't know, whatever he is, the chairman. He's the chairman. And he's trying to soften this stuff going on with Trump and Ted Cruz's dad. RNC chairman Reince Priebus on Sunday said that Donald Trump wasn't claiming to be passing on factual information. This is hysterical. So in other words, when Trump was going on about Cruz's dad being in cahoots with Lee Harvey Oswald and somehow, they were association because they had pictures together or something. Now Reince Priebus is coming back and saying, oh, no, he wasn't trying to be factual. He was just, and it was mainly the only reason he brought that up is because Cruz had brought it up during the fact that, he said that he wasn't going to support Trump because of stuff he said about his dad and his wife. But anyway, it's all BS, and this is what it's all about. Trump isn't going to quit saying this crazy stuff. He's not going to quit saying this crazy stuff because the only way Trump loses is if he quits being Trump. Because at the end of the day, what he's going to have at the end of the day is this image of himself that he's going to monetize and make so much money off of, you won't even believe it. And he'll brag about it. He's going to brag about how well he did. I don't know if it'll sound good if he says, I made so much money running for president. I don't know if he's that if he'll do that, because a lot of times he stops before he actually goes that far. But he's gonna brag about how well he did running for president. And like I say, his brand, his image is going to be stronger and bigger than ever. He's going to be known. He's going to be throughout the world. I remember the first time I heard about Donald Trump. It was in the 80s. A friend of mine read the book, The Art of the Deal, and he was telling me a little bit about it. I'd never heard of Donald Trump. And at that point, he wasn't a household name. And then he starts building his name. And he's on Oprah Winfrey. He starts becoming a bigger name. He goes from Manhattan to, casinos to luxury hotels to everything like that. And then he starts building his name. And the ultimate name building venture that he's done is to run for president. And he's going to turn this into a huge extravaganza, a huge, I can't even tell you how big. In fact, I actually think the guy has got to be one of the, this has got to be one of the biggest, brightest business deals I've ever seen. What he's done. I mean, you really got to take your hat off to this guy. He is a genius. I mean, what he's done is absolutely genius. The run for the presidency, the building of his brand, the ability to be able to say and do anything he wants to say without any backing down, without any compromise, without any, being completely, even to the point that, in fact, I was listening to the Democratic convention tonight, and of course, the big part of it was how he made fun of the disabled guy that had said something about him. And he comes on and he kind of does he mimics the disabled guy, and they made a huge deal out of that. And at that, and it is kind of, I remember when I heard that, I thought, wow, man, that's kind of weird that he do that, and the reason he does this stuff is because he doesn't care about what most people think about him. He's going to appeal to a certain amount of people, and that's going to be it. And he's going to turn that into a huge extravaganza as far as name building, brand building, and he doesn't care about anybody else. So he will lose this election. He will lose to Hillary. He will spin this to make it sound like he did the deal of a century when he did it, and he did, and he will make a lot of money from this run for president. He will still be very appealable to almost all the people that supported him to begin with. Those kind of people are always going to be in his corner. They always will be. They'll always support him, and he will be the hero. And at the end of the day, he will come out of this thing looking like the hero, the uncompromising, the non-politically correct guy, the guy that stood up to the establishment, and he will look like that, and he will spin this and monetize it into one of the biggest, best, greatest brands in the history of the world. And that's what this is about. So anyway, that's my take on it. I hope you appreciate it. Thank you.